So in this video, I am going to talk about recycling. But first, let's talk about the other two R's, which is reduce and reuse. Reduce basically means cutting down on the amount of waste you generate every day. For example, taking your own shopping bag, your own reusable shopping bag to the store instead of going empty handed and coming home with a whole bunch of plastic bags. Imagine that plastic bag accumulating in your home. That's a whole lot of plastic bags. Now, let's talk about reuse. Reuse basically means you are making use of items over and over again. For example, using your washable plate, spoon, and cup for meetings, programs, and maybe your dinner time instead of disposable ones, because those might end up in the trash and at the end of the day ending up in our landfill, and we don't want that, right? So let's talk about recycling. Recycling basically means we are converting waste items into new and useful items. For example, you can turn your milk jugs into playground items, or maybe your plastic bottles into t-shirts, and all of those very cool things. So I am going to do some trash sorting activities which I normally do with kids, and stay tuned and see how it goes. So as you can see, I have here the compost bin. I have bin for cardboard, aluminium, glass, plastic, and paper. And I have different waste items here on the table, and I am going to sort them out and put them in their respective bin to be recycled. So as we all know, composting is the nature's way of recycling, so it's also part of the process. I have here an eggshell. So what I would do, I'll crush it and then I put them in my compost bin. And I also have plastic water bottle. So this plastic container, I have to first check which number it is and see whether it's acceptable in my city and all of that. Then I'll put them in my plastic bin. I have a newspaper, of course, here. This goes into my paper bin. And this is glass. It goes into my glass bin. I have this, and this is going to my aluminium bin because it's aluminium. And also I have this, I have a cereal, and then I have the box. I put them in my cardboard bin. I have an apple core. This goes into my compost bin. And this is for my book, my notebook. I put them in the paper bin. And this goes into my plastic bin. As we all know, this is not commonly, sometimes some places don't take it, but if you take them to a nearby store, let's say like Walmart, they might recycle it. So I put them in my plastic bin. This is carrot. I put them in my compost bin. This is pizza boxes. So what I do, I will remove the greasy part of my pizza box, and then I put the hard part in my cardboard bin and the greasy part in my compost bin. This is beer bottle, so it's definitely going to my glass recycling bin. And this is yogurt cup. Make sure your city is accepting yogurt cup, and then you can see if they accept it, and then you can put them into your plastic bin. Okay, I also have leaves from my backyard, so I am going to put them in my compost bin. I have my lotion bottle, so I am going to put them in my plastic bin. And I also have a milk jug. I will check the number. So about the numbers, we have numbers from 1 to 7. So it depends, it's different by city. Some city will not accept a particular number, so make sure when you're putting them in your plastic bin, make sure you check the number and make sure that is what your city is accepting, and then you put them in your plastic bin. So I have a tuna container here. It's aluminum, so definitely it's going to my aluminum bin. This is glass, it's going to my glass bin. And this is for my bathroom soap and all of that. I'll put them in my plastic bin. And I have, this is box. It's definitely going to my cardboard bin. So this is it, and all of my trash are recyclables, and they are going to the respective bin, and they are going to be recycled. I hope you had fun with that activity. So let's just talk about a few things. So in the activity, we had pizza box. I know I talked about this earlier on, but just to recap, if you have a pizza box and you want to recycle it, first, if you have the greasy part, make sure you remove the greasy part, you cut it off, and then you can put it in your compost bin and put the hard part, the part that is not greasy, into your recycling bin. As for plastic bottles, make sure you check the numbers, because some plastic, either because of their shape, color, or chemical composition, most companies don't accept to recycle them. So make sure you check which number is on that particular plastic that you want to put in your recycling bin. And make sure you also know what your city is accepting, because it varies with cities. Some cities might accept plastic number 1 and number 2. Some accept 1, 2, and 5. So it all depends on what your city is accepting, and make sure that is what is going into a recycling bin. And talking about plastic, if you have a particular, let's say you have a peanut butter jar, or maybe you have a shampoo or anything that you have, make sure you clean it up, rinse it up a little bit before you put them in your recycling bin. Especially if it's dirty, make sure you rinse it out a little bit before you put them in your recycling bin. And also, do not leave liquid in your containers, because come to think of it, people working in the recycling facility don't actually know what is in that particular container. It might be an acid, so they don't want to put they don't want to touch it or something like that, and at the end of the day they might put it in the trash, which might end up in your in the landfill. And at the end of the day, you might think that, oh, I did recycle these items, but it was not actually recycled. So meaning you did a wishful recycle.